What is Taproot, the proposed Bitcoin upgrade? We're learning more about Taproot. I think it's 97% of the way towards activation. It needs to be all green for a certain amount of time, then it will activate onto Bitcoin. This is the biggest upgrade since 2017, mainly involving upgrades to signatures, multi-sig, security, and privacy. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on the Bitcoin Taproot upgrade. How is it different from last time? Is there anything you look forward to in Taproot?
Well, first of all, shout out to Alejandro, who seemed to nudge BTC top into signaling. I think it's great. Did a great job of that, and so like informative as well. Like he's so ninja on the mining scene. The current total activation, if you look at Taproot.watch, is 97.13%. But I think it just missed the window, right? So it's probably going to be kind of confirmed in, I think I read August, which seems a bit late. Seems like a long time. But ultimately he brings, cheaper transactions, more privacy, or maybe I was wrong, 97%. I was looking at the other page. Schnorr signatures, and it kind of disguises, as I understand it, as smart contracts, as kind of complex contracts and transactions, more of kind of simple transactions. So it's better for privacy. Although Edward Snowden seems to disagree with that. Maybe it's a kind of Snowden's a new Musk piping in without kind of knowing. But it seems like everyone disagrees with him that it won't. It's good for privacy. But ultimately lower transaction fees and as well, and which is good. I think the main thing is with Taproot is that it's not a contentious fork like the kind of the SegWit 2x fork, or even like the bigger blocks for the original SegWit fork of 2017. So there's a lot more chance of it being voted in, which we can see now with the voting, and yeah, I think it's a good thing for Bitcoin overall. It kind of we discussed this last week, but there's a lot going on in the DeFi space, and it can allow for more of the reasonable like kind of price DeFi based contracts, which are being eaten up by Ethereum fees at the moment. So yeah, I think ultimately Taproot seems pretty ninja, and I'm looking forward to it.
Josh Sigala, your thoughts on Taproot?
Yeah, bring it on. I'm really surprised at how quickly that's moved up the charts. Yeah, I really can't wait for it. Well done, BTC.com coming on board. There's still 77 out of 178 are just signaling, so it'd be good to bump that up, guys. But wow, and Alejandro, man, what a job! He's really pulled the whole team together, and it just goes to show actually how decentralized it is. I mean, it's very, very hard for everyone to upgrade. It's taken a long time, and this isn't even a controversial fork. It isn't a controversial upgrade. It's pretty good for everyone, and the thing is, you have now, which is really interesting. I find it interesting anyway, is that you have miners that are paid by competing chains. So let's say Bitcoin.com, they're heavily invested in Bitcoin Cash, and they would do everything to stifle BTC. So even though this doesn't compete with Bitcoin Cash, it's got nothing to do with it, they could also put downward pressure on hitting those milestones to be able to upgrade. Not to say that is happening. I haven't looked at the stats, but I'm just saying that it's an interesting part of the whole game, is that we have adversaries that are financially invested in other chains. So any upgrade could also see their chain being less useful, or the propaganda that they're putting out about Bitcoin being less potent if a certain upgrade goes through, so they'll stifle the upgrade. So it's also a fascinating part of the entire attack vector of this space. And it's one of the genius things I love about Satoshi is the way that that he didn't just think about, hey, let's have a computer program that runs a decentralized network, because that didn't work. He had to come up with a way that would incentivize actors to do the right thing. And this whole network of game theoretical pressures that would push one way and then push another way and keep everything in an equilibrium, working towards securing a network and keeping a network going no matter how big or how small it becomes. And it's just amazing that it's still just humming along, so but yeah, this is one of the things that I'm worried about. But yeah, bring it on. I'm really looking forward to Taproot.
I just think it's so nice to have a non-contentious Bitcoin fork or Bitcoin upgrade for once. Last time we had the fork, because last time, you remember with SegWit, we had all the back and forth, and it seemed like people were being intellectually dishonest, trying to just wait SegWit out because every day it ran, they could run ASIC boost and they could make more money. So eventually a line in the sand was drawn with the UASF. Everyone got on board. Bitcoin split into two, then again into three, or whatever. All that things keeps happening. But this time, nothing like that. It's just a normal upgrade. Everyone's on board. It was proposed in 2008 or 2018, sorry. So it's old code. It's been checked. It's been looked at. The idea is there. We're doing the Taproot. We're also doing Schnorr signatures, which I think allows for things like nesting signatures, like putting signatures inside of signatures and contracts inside of contracts and all kinds of great stuff there. And again, Satoshi would have adopted Schnorr in the beginning, but it was patented. So there was some kind of patent issue, and eventually it came out of patent, and now he can use it. So once again, software patents holding back software. Software patents are bad. And it's also just great to see this upgrade. As far as Snowden or whatever, it's the same thing where Snowden, Cuban, Musk, all of these people should have been with Bitcoin earlier, when it would have mattered, when it would have counted, when them saying something about Bitcoin would have caused headlines across the world. During that time period, they were all dismissive of Bitcoin. They all said that it wasn't important, that it was a joke. And then now they've all changed their tunes. So we welcome them back, but we don't forget what they did before. Exit question. I don't know. Do you guys have an exit question on this one?
No, but I think Josh made a really good point about the social attack vector and the Bitcoin Cash sabotaging. And you kind of think, I wonder if when Bitcoin becomes so enshrined in every technology that the kind of fact checking will expand out to counter bad facts about Bitcoin or disinformation about Bitcoin forks. When it becomes that much of a kind of global reserve currency, which it will eventually. Will there be disinformation, campaigns at the same level as you see the political campaigns, and will there be people kind of trying to mediate and counter that as much as you see now?
Yeah, and just like the pharmaceuticals pay the fact checkers, there you also have Blockstream paying the fact checkers.
But if you put it on a blockchain, then it must be true.
Okay. I did when you said it's a slightly bit of older code. I suddenly thought of Star Wars and was like, it's an older code, but it still checks out. Oh yeah, go Schnorr.